Your economy update. Hey everyone, it's Wolfgang. So the economy is churning along, treating some people quite well, treating other people, not quite so well. So let's discuss what's going on in the economy. It's a mixture of good news and bad news. So in a candid moment, a couple of banker friends of mine admitted that they thought the economy was soft. So these two people work in a bank, in a high-end bank. In fact, it's been in the news recently. It's a pretty high-end bank, and they said they thought the economy was soft. Okay, but it all depends. Okay, on a lot of factors. It depends on the size of your family, the number of kids you have, and whether or not they're at home or they're on their own. Where you live plays a role in how you're feeling in this economy. For example, the Midwest tends to be more affordable, at least right now, and a lot of people are moving there. Whether or not your family is dual income or single income. For example, if you have a young family and the wife staying at home, you're single income, right? So also your career, your income level will play a role in how you feel in this economy. So my banker friends, I don't know how well they're compensated, and I'm not going to ask, but there are a lot of factors here. If you're a single person, as an example, if you're a single person with a higher end career, one income, no debt, you're probably feeling okay. If you're a small family, wife's not working, and you have 5 kids, and your career does not pay a high income, you're probably feeling not so good right now. And I'm not sure how much that depends on the economic background of the country. I think these choices that you make, family size, where you live, dual or single income, your career choice, play kind of a major role in how well you do in the economy. So that being said, when my banker friends said they thought the economy was sort of soft, they weren't saying their economy, their situation did not feel great. They were talking about the overall economy was a bit soft. So that's sort of anecdotally, that's from bankers, okay? But there's a lot of good news out there. For example, real estate. Right now, and I bring this up because a lot of people have, they sort of said homes are too expensive, right? So there's a lot of good news in real estate. Over 62% of the largest metropolitan areas are in a buyer's market for homes. That means the buyer is in control. The buyer can seek and get concessions from sellers. Sellers will work with buyers right now in well over a majority of metropolitan areas. There's 1.5 sellers for every 1 buyer. That means there are more sellers than buyers right now. So it's a buyer's market in a lot of areas. That's good news for real estate. More good news. Interest rates are, relatively speaking, they are coming down because they were much higher than 6.28% a year ago. They were in the 7s. So they're down to 6.28% right now for a 30-year fixed loan, and 15-year loans, fixed rate, 5.58%. That's stunning. That's really good. That's a really good rate. That's not too far from 3%, which was probably will not return in our lifetime unless there's another 2008, 2009 housing crash. These rates are starting to look pretty good. When we first started buying real estate, my wife and I paid over 9%. And we thought we did well because older people told us that interest rates got up to 18, 19, 20% a decade or so prior, or in the 1970s. So these are pretty good rates. Again, there's a lot of factors here that determine how well you feel about buying a home right now. Is renting cheaper in your area or is buying cheaper? In a lot of areas, renting is still cheaper than buying, okay? So what are the best areas, the most affordable places to buy a home right now? Like I said, the Midwest, Ohio, Iowa, Indiana, West Virginia. There are places in the Midwest where you can get some screaming good deals on homes. And a lot of people are moving there. A lot of people have been unhappy with high home prices, and that's why they've been moving to the Midwest, lower prices. If you do a search on homes for $200,000 or less, homes for under $200,000, you will be pleasantly surprised at the number of choices that you have to buy a home. There are a lot of different parts of the country, especially in the Midwest, that have homes that are much cheaper than like the coastal regions. Coastal regions, oh boy, are they in buyer's markets right now because they got overpriced. Okay, so what about hiring? We're talking about the economy, right? What about hiring? So a lot of people's perception is, okay, the economy is not good because there's no hiring. Well, it depends on what area you work in, your career choice. HVAC, heating, ventilation, and air conditioning. They're pretty much always hiring because people need, regardless of the time of year, people either need heating or air conditioning. Electricians are in demand, especially, if you do a search in your area for data center build or new data center, if you see data center or two being built in your area, all of these are going to be in hiring mode. Electricians, plumbers, AI tech jobs, nursing all the time, all over the country, remote nursing, travel nurses who are willing to travel to remote locations to do short-term gigs like 3-6 month contracts, roofing, flooring, landscaping. A lot of these jobs are open because there was a temporary workforce in the country that has left the country. So there are a lot of jobs out there. Now, there are some entry-level jobs and some jobs that could be automated if AI was there to do it. And we're at a point now where artificial intelligence can do a lot of entry-level and very basic sorts of jobs. So yes, there are some parts of the economy that are weak, but we have, with the exception of nursing, we have hired people to do all of these. We have a portfolio of rental properties. In recent weeks, we've hired all these trades just for our, and this is happening all over the country. So it depends on what your career is in terms of can you get work. Now, if you're a software engineer, and you have no artificial intelligence background there, that's a different story, right? Because there's a surplus of those people. But not everyone is up to speed with artificial intelligence. That's one thing you can do to help yourself out, is to become proficient in artificial intelligence, because we're at the early stages of artificial intelligence growth, okay? Let's talk about asset prices. Bitcoin hit a record today, 125,000. Gold hit a record today, 4,000 per ounce. Artificial intelligence, there was a large, I think it was Advanced Micro Devices, AMD, announced a big deal, a chip production deal to provide chips for OpenAI. And AMD stock was, at one point, it was up 36% in one day, 36% in one day, AMD stock. So artificial intelligence, there are a lot of opportunities there, and those opportunities will grow as people figure out what artificial intelligence can do. The use cases, as those expand, more and more people are going to be needed to do that work. So it's really in your best interest, if you're wondering about the future of work, to figure out use cases for AI, what they are now, what they were a year ago, what they're projected to be in 1 year, and look at the difference, and you'll see that there has been growth. And at this point in time, nobody really knows exactly how artificial intelligence is going to be used. It's comparable to when the computer mouse was invented, when the graphical user interface was invented in the 1960s. It took a long time before people could figure out how to make the best use of those. Initially, Xerox PARC created some prototype software that used a computer mouse and graphical user interface 20 years after they were actually developed. In the 1980s, Xerox PARC created prototypes. Steve Jobs saw those and implemented them in the Macintosh. So sometimes it takes a while for people to catch on exactly what the potential of a technology is. There is growth in artificial intelligence. There's massive growth right now. It's going to continue. So I saw something today that said people don't think AI is making any money. People are not looking hard enough at the earnings of companies who are earning money, who are selling artificial intelligence use case solutions to business customers, especially to business customers. A lot of businesses are using AI. So have a look at artificial intelligence if you're concerned about the future of work, the future of employment. Okay, so let's talk about the future in general. AI is earning money. It is earning money for companies. AI solutions are being sold, earning money for the companies that sell them. AI solutions are being bought by companies that are saving money by being more efficient using AI. So stock prices of those companies will go up as their earnings go up, with some bumps along the way, right? The semiconductor index, the SOX, is now at a record high. The semiconductor index tracks the computer chips market. It's at a record high. SOX, you can look that up on your online broker, SOX, S like in Sam, OX. It's at a record high right now because people are going, there's a shortage of supply of artificial intelligence chips. So value investing, what if you're a value investor? Value investing has been hard for a long time. It's not going to change. So every once in a while, like with United Health, Berkshire Hathaway bought United Health because the CEO was shot and killed. Then United Health got into some trouble. That's a distressed company situation. But for the most part, value investing, very difficult. Okay, if you want to make money in stocks, you're going to be rewarded if you're invested in parts of the economy that are growing, not declining. So, and like I said, if you're willing to adapt in your career to increase the demand for your employment, here's what you can do. You should learn the role of artificial intelligence in all parts of your job and all parts of the company that you work at as a good start. Because right now, a lot of people are not up to speed on artificial intelligence at this particular point. It's sort of like when the internet came out, a lot of people didn't take it seriously. It took a while for the masses to take it seriously enough so that everyone sort of started having the right skills. Right now, artificial intelligence skills, if you know everything that AI can do in your job and everything that AI can do in the types of companies you work at, you have an advantage over a lot of employees because a lot of employees are not keeping up with that part of the economy. So if you have any questions about this, there is good news out there. If you're stressed about the future of employment, artificial intelligence might be, if you can figure out how to, if you learn more about it, figure out how to add those skills to what you do, or maybe be flexible enough to make a change in your career, it might not be a bad idea, especially if you're looking at trades jobs. A lot of these trades jobs pay well and they're in demand. If you have any questions, please post in the comments. I'd be more than happy to answer any questions you have. I really want to thank everyone for watching. Have a great day.